Hi, I'm Marianne Meed Ward, a downtown resident and business owner, and a candidate for Ward 2 in the upcoming municipal election in Burlington on October 25th. One of the key reasons I'm running is to cut tax increases and spending, and today I'd like to talk to you about some of the ways that we can do that. Taxes have increased in Burlington at 3 times the rate of inflation in the last few years, and this council has presided over the largest single tax increase in recent memory, a whopping 9% in 2008. And taxes are projected to go up 5% a year going forward. The graph on your screen will show you the difference between inflation and city tax increases. The green line at the bottom shows inflation, and the red line on the top shows the city tax increases. These increases are particularly hard on our seniors on fixed incomes. And I'd like to share with you an email I got recently from a woman in Burlington, a senior named Susan. The property tax increase will hurt me a lot. I'm a widow on a fixed income, and I have nowhere else left to cut except food. I do not have credit cards or any debt, cable TV, a car, a cell phone, or any fancy phone options like call display. I don't go to the hairdresser, and I only go out when I have to, since bus fares went up. All these increases, and I'm sure more will follow, can be devastating, not just difficult. We've got to do better by our seniors like Susan. So why is all of this happening? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First, the city is spending your money on nice-to-have projects, capital projects, legacy projects, like the pier behind me. Many of you have told me that this is a want, not a need. And even worse, we're taking on debt to pay for these projects. 30% of capital spending is currently funded through taking on debt. And $2 million a year goes to interest payments alone. That takes money away from core services and projects. It's one thing to take on capital projects when you're flush with cash, but when our seniors like Susan are having to choose between paying their taxes or buying food, it's quite another. We've got to refocus our spending on needs, not wants. Secondly, there's poor oversight of projects, and that leads to delays and cost overruns. The pier behind me is a great example. This project went off the rails about 2 years ago, and we've seen the costs and the budget for this project rise over $1 million in that time. The project went aground over a dispute over whether faulty design or faulty construction caused problems during the first pour of the concrete deck. Now, my friends in construction and engineering tell me it's not uncommon to have a redesign during construction projects. What is uncommon, though, is for the city to wait 2 years and then to launch an 11th-hour lawsuit, naming everybody, or try to cobble together a last-minute deal. All of this has cost us 2 years of progress, untold legal costs, and delays still on the horizon. You can find out more about the pier by going to votemarianne.ca and watching my videos or reading some of my reports. I've been tracking this project for many years and have started a petition. More than 200 of you have signed that, so thank you for your support. Finally, there's a lack of business case for projects going forward. Residents may know the initial cost, but they don't know the ongoing operating expenses. And this is exactly what killed the Freeman Station location. There was no business case or ongoing revenue source for that project, and that complicated choice of a location. Same with the Pan Am Games participation. There was no clarity at the beginning about how much the stadium would cost, how big it was, how much Burlington taxpayers would be on the hook for it, and there was no operating expenses and budget going forward to see if this project was going to be viable. And that, too, killed our participation in that event. So where does that leave the city? Well, we're missing opportunities to save our heritage and invest in it, or to invest in sport infrastructure like the Pan Am. And worse, the city is at the mercy of every developer waiving new tax revenue through construction and development fees. And what we're starting to see, especially in the downtown, is overdevelopment. The city is giving approvals for construction that is well beyond the height limits in the official plan because they simply need the cash. In a separate video on development, I outline my principles for how we can improve this. And you can see that by coming to this website. So what would I do differently as your councillor? Well, there's a number of opportunities going forward. I've operated my own communications business for the past 11 years. I know the value of a business case and making sure you've got your expenses in line. I also sit as a board member on the Joseph Brant Memorial Hospital, where we eliminated a deficit, and together with staff, we manage a $140 million budget and are seeking approval for a $312 million redevelopment project. I'll put all of that background and experience to work for you to rein in spending. As your councillor, I'll work to reduce taxes by focusing on priorities, infrastructure and core services over nice-to-have legacy projects. I'll review all spending, not just increases over the previous year. That's called zero-based budgeting. I'll require a business case so taxpayers know the viability of capital projects and their ongoing tax burden, and seek better oversight of projects to avoid cost overruns. I'll improve transparency and accountability in taxes and seek your input when setting budget priorities. And I'll cut frivolous spending and lead by example. I'll pay my own way for golf tournaments and charity galas and not bill the taxpayers as some councillors do. I'm Marianne Meed Ward, signing off from downtown Burlington. I welcome your vote to send a strong voice to City Council for Ward 2 to rein in spending and cut our tax increases. Thank you.